Alrighty, we're back, and we are actually going back to pick up a few different items. Because at this point, the rules will have officially changed. And I'm the one that's changing the rules, specifically. So, the rule up until this point was that I play a game until I get Burger Kinged, until I physically cannot do more in the game that I'm playing. Here's the thing. Dark Souls 3 is massive. A colossus of a game with over 900 checks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to full clear areas. Get every single item that I can possibly pick up in one area. And then, once that is done, I will go back through the other games with any items that I've picked up and see if I can make any more progress, such as getting the pick nails for Rouge, the Spider Ball, Boost Ball, and several beam upgrades for Samus, and so on. So there's 3 areas that I went through, being, the Cemetery of Ash, Firelink Shrine, if you count that as an area, and the High Wall of Lothric. I did miss one item over here. Yeah, right here, okay. That was not worth it. But I have an auto tracker enabled now. So now I'll be able to see when an area is completely exhausted of options for me. So, let's see what Firelink has for me. Game, I know you're trying to be encouraging, but those NPCs don't exist right now. Okay, fair enough. Because I don't think I have Irina or Quarnix or any of them. I do have the ability to almost die.
Another one, roused. Well, you're not alone. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends. Don't you think?
He's going to connipt.
What a sick. Asking us. We're talking.
Okay, so I'm going to visit the bonfire just in case I accidentally managed to kill myself with fall damage. Okay, and we're going to go over here. Okay.
Aha, so.
We are going to talk with him. I can get Vort's hammer, but not with Vort's soul. Ah, a shriving stone. Reason we are here is to not accidentally press the B button. That would be a mistake. What I'm going to do is kill him. For 2 reasons. 1, he just comes back the next time you load the area, and 2, he drops an item. So now that item counts as being acquired. I'm going to go back to the High Wall of Lothric and get the last few items that I missed there, and then hop over to the other games that I can actually progress more in now. Okay, so back on the High Wall of Lothric, there are 3 things that I can get over here. And I think there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 9. But I don't want to fight Dancer. I, really don't want to fight Dancer. And the reason I learned why this weapon does so much damage at +4 is it is a boss weapon, so it only goes to +5 instead of +10. I also learned, after reviewing the footage last time, this particular weapon has a little bit of a funny. So when I swing, the shield goes up in front of my face. Meaning, at the beginning of this attack, during this attack, because it's with the shield, and during the 3rd attack at the end, the shield counts as an active shield in those moments, which is really cool. I'm still not a huge fan of the weapon as a whole, but it's cool nonetheless. Oh my god. Titanite chunks. I don't want to do that, but it's a check, which means it must be done. Ow! Oh my goodness. No health. No health at all. An antiquated dress. Wonderful. Okay, so I need to let this guy transform. Oh man, they're not weak to darkness at all. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Just look at it. You notice, this is the same thing that happened to Gundyr, the first boss that I fought. Okay. I think it should drop it now. Yeah. It was just 2 Titanite shards. But now we know for certain that it was not worth the effort. And frankly, I think that peace of mind wasn't worth it. But at least we have that check done. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the next check. It's that door. Needless to say, reaching it is going to be a bit of a trouble. But there should be just enough time right before the... Ow. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Because for some reason the door is not locked on this side. Where is the check? Where is it? There it is. Okay. Dark Souls 101. Notice how the box is slowly moving. That is the one way to tell it's a mimic. The other way is the chain. If the chain just goes out to the side like that, it's a mimic. If it's looped in a circle, it's not a mimic. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some Black Flame. And we're going to kill a mimic. Done. Mimic dead. The Elegant Key. Now, if there was ever a check to be worth coming back for, it's that one. The Elegant Key locks you out of some locations in Hollow Knight. At least 2, I think. Going down, down, down here. We're going to drop down here, and we're going to immediately get shot. Turn right. Drake blood armor. That's kind of cool. No, you tried to shank me, get counter-shanked. Now, our next check is one of these ghouls is one of the ones that transforms. And just like the last one, it has 2 different checks inside of him. I could not tell what was happening for a second there. Rusted coin and an ember. Neither of those are progression, but both of them are useful, as one increases drop rate and one increases health. So, for people that don't know Dark Souls, on the top left corner, there is obviously my health bar, but there's also a little circle. Or octagon, technically. And it currently looks like it's on fire. That is the embered state. When you are embered, you have 50% more health, and you can use summon sigils to summon NPCs to help make boss fights easier, which I will be doing. I'm not afraid of doing that. Now, there's only 2 ways to get embered. Embers, which I just got one of, and whenever you kill a boss, you will become embered. Embered goes away when you die. So, you want to try not to die, obviously, but Dark Souls makes that a very difficult little proposition for you. The Skull Ring. Okay. I forget what the Skull Ring does. Easier to be detected by enemies. That's really bad for my health, specifically. Much like that. Oh, it was right here and I missed it. An emblem for Sonic! Okay. There is one singular check more that I can actually make while I'm here. But I'm gonna need to hightail it over there. So, this is High Priest Emma.
The wait has been long, unkindled one. I am Emma, High Priestess of Lothric Castle. Allow me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. They have left, gone to their journey homes, converging at the base of this castle. Head to the bottom of the high wall, forge on through the great gate, and raise this banner to proceed.
And there's her check. Now, what happens later on in the game is she'll just keel over. I don't know if she's old or what, and that's how you get the Basin of Vows. And the Basin of Vows lets you fight Dancer. But you can kill her. But if you talk to her again, you can get the Blue Covenant, which also tells me that the Covenants are randomized, which isn't great, but I have to deal with that.
What is wrong? Are you not a Lord Seeker? Is this not...
Now, we're just going to, so the old woman has passed away from natural causes. Poor thing. Truly, a tragedy. For Twinkling Titanite, it wasn't really worth it. Now, at this point, since I do have the Basin of Vows, I can accidentally trigger a boss fight. One that I don't anticipate being able to win. But this is a fan favorite boss fight from Dark Souls 3, one of mine too. And one of the more tragic cases if you know the lore about this particular boss. This is Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Whereas Vort of the Boreal Valley was, clunky, heavy. This one isn't. Fast, graceful, damaging. We're gonna see what happens. And I'll tell you what happens. I use the coiled sword fragment to return. Because I am not dealing with her. I am not going to deal with Dancer right now. Technically she's a check. I ain't fighting her right now. I am way too low leveled.
Very well, then Tuthaken.
And since I have no idea what I want my build to be, I'm just going to put a few levels into health to make it a little bit easier for me not to die. I normally put my vigor to about 20 just to give myself a decent amount of health, one-shot protection, you know, the like. Now, there's one more thing I can do while I'm here. But she will respond to emotes, and that's cute. Alrighty, with those checks done, I'll see you over in our next game where we can see if we can make just a little bit more progress. Alright, back in Sonic Adventure 2, as you can see, we got a lot more emblems, but we're not going to make too much progress here because we don't have too many more upgrades. We have the air necklace and the sunglasses for Knuckles, which is decent, but it's definitely not going to help us. I did have one person say that there is a Chow box I can find here. So I'm going to go see if that's correct. Oh, there's the shield that I got. But more than that, we have Rouge's Pick Nails, which is a bigger upgrade for sure. As that is going to let me clear at least 2 more levels. But let's look for that Chow box first. See if I can find that. Okay, so going back to the start of the level, it's right here. I realized that I've never actually shown the model for the Archipelago item. Alright, what is that? Queen's Garden Stag. That is really good for Hollow Knight because it lets me get to Queen's Garden really, really quickly. That's a really good one. Alright. Let's see if I can find another Chow container. Yeah, this is good enough. There we go. Next Chow. And this is a Mask Shard. Man, double Hollow Knight. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, it's in this one. Okay. So that's 3 more checks that I made. Missile expansion. Not perfect, but it's definitely better than what it was.
Select the stage.
Okay. Still can't get that one because I don't have the bazooka. Can't get that. Alright, so we're going to be taking on the egg quarters now that we actually have the ability to dig. Thank you so much. We're just going to be running from the egg scarab this whole time. We don't need to worry about it. It's slow. Yeah. Well, that would have been a good place for it to have been last time. Thank you, Omo Chow, for being next to worthless. But you can outrun its laser? Huh. Never knew that. Alright, at this point I'm confused. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Stop that. I see it. Alright, I tried to do this level before and I wasn't able to do it. Let's see what the reward would have been if I had gotten it earlier.
How is that? Perfect? Like me?
Silver Mask. Okay, don't remember exactly what that does, but it sounds decent.
I got it!
It was an annoying 100 rings, nearly taking 3 minutes, but I don't care. It's done. And the reward for that is
Select the stage.
Grand Archives Key. A mandatory item if I wanted to go into the late game for Dark Souls pretty much immediately. Alrighty, I'll see you over in the next game where we use all of those wonderful upgrades for Samus. We're back. And we're here. Win. And I have quite a few things that are going to be coming to me. Spider Ball, Boost Ball, the ability to charge this. Just excellent things. Wait, do I have... Oh. Nice. I didn't notice that I had that. Funny thing is, I'm only missing Charge Beam for normal Power Beam. No. You can use the thermal visor to lock onto these, but you don't need to. Let's see what this is. Funny thing is, you can actually see what the thing is before you even go in there and get it, because it's through this little window right here. Alright, so it's a non-vital item for whoever it's for. But this should be fun and allow me to completely tear up the game. All the things that I have. Still don't have morph ball bombs, which is funny. But with, I should get enough checks to have 10% of the game's checks. And with that, I can just, you know, hint where the morph ball bombs are. In which I'll probably just go get the morph ball bombs. Because at this point, short of the gravity suit and a few other things, I could feasibly beat the game. With this. Feasibly. Not reliably, and certainly not easily. But I could. But I have access to a massive chunk of the map now. So I'm going to be, for the most part, tearing this game up. Another Shriving Stone. Wonderful. Love to see that. I don't, actually. Let's see. I could go back to Chozo Ruins, but I'm actually more limited there than I am right here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go this way. And see if I can see what all the elevators are, because Magmore is like a giant hub. There's so many different elevators in Magmore. I can't be stopped by doors, which is great. Alright, where does this take me? Vendrana Quarantine Cave. I'm trying to think of what I can get in here. I don't have the gravity suit, so I probably shouldn't go over to the gravity chamber. I don't have the grapple beam. So many good options, really. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, first things first, immediately turn around, and since I have the spider ball, I'm gonna go get a quick check real quick by going up here. And oh boy, am I glad I did, because it's a gear. A grub. Grubs are counted as progression. Huh. Fair enough, I'm not gonna complain. Now, anyone that's played this game knows what's coming up. They know what's in this room. And frankly, I'm not worried. Because I have the thermal visor. I've beaten him without the thermal visor because I memorized where all the weak points are. And they spawn in the same spot every single time. This is the rock monster, Thardus. And, he's really, really weak to the plasma beam. Like, really weak to the plasma beam. So, we're just gonna do a little thing called killing him. We're not gonna fight him. No, fighting would involve there being a chance of him winning. We're just gonna kill him. Plasma beam also one-shots his little projectiles, which then I can drag in for more health. This is the hardest weak point to hit just because his big meaty hands. No. No. I didn't like your attitude, so no. And it's gonna be up here. And then it's gonna be the next one. And it should be his core, I think. Bada bing. Bada boom. Last words. I'm sorry, I don't speak rock. I think that might have been lost in translation. Oh well. Doesn't even matter if that was worth it or not. For ROM. I don't know what that is. But I can go completely clear out all of South Fendrana from here. There are some things that I could go into the pirate labs to go get. Trying to think. I'd be cut off by anything that requires a super missile or anything that requires a morph ball bomb, because I don't have morph ball bombs. Which is hilarious because I still have power bombs. But it's fine. No. 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 Okay, but I can go over here and do a little trick. This one. So, normally you're supposed to raise up the water level and get up here and then, you know, hop up here, hop over there, hop up there. What you can do is that little hole right there is a check. You do it just right, you can slip in between. And I still can't morph ball bomb jump. Right. That's on me. That's on me for forgetting. These things can only be killed by the wave beam. They die instantly to a charge shot, which is why I was so happy to get it earlier. No, stop doing that. Shadow's Mystic Melody. That's really good. That is... How many shadow levels are there? 4. So that's 4 more checked from each of the Chow stages. It's not enough checks to be worth going back to SA2 right now. Not until I run out of checks for here, at least. And then from there, I'll be, let's see, where am I going from here? After I'm done with Metroid. Let's see... Wind Waker I'm perma-locked out of, but I do have some options with Queen's Garden. Large Soul of a Weary Warrior is a pretty good amount of money. Oh, that's decent. I could always go to the Undead Settlement in 3 again. But with how many upgrades that I have, like this episode's probably going to be just primarily focused on Metroid, and then a few tiny things here and there. All depends on how much I can edit it down to, but for the most part, it should be good. No. You want to grow up to be nice adult she-goths that don't bully me, then just stay in the ground. Stop. Stop doing things. That's an important item. Darn it. Of course it's progressive bow. Of course it's progressive bow. Well, it's not awful. And the reason it's not awful, actually, wait, hold on. Need to see if I can break this with a missile. Okay. The reason why it's not awful is because Wind Waker is going to take forever to get back to anyway. So me not having the bow is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. But if I find more progressive bows, then I could just have the light arrows. And having the light arrows for a majority of the game would just be completely broken. Not that I'm going to be complaining if that is what happens. What the? Okay, just a vanilla artifact. Okay. Pretty sure there's an artifact there in the vanilla game, too, so that's kind of hilarious that it's just kind of both a vanilla item for the game and a vanilla item for its location. Although that's not the artifact of strength location, I know that. Mortician's Ashes. Okay, okay, that's, that is more items sold by the Firekeeper. Or the Grandma. Let's see, what's my pathing look like? One item I can get right here, and then I think another one I can get before I leave Fendrana. Okay, an emblem, I think that puts me at like 19. So there's 2 instances of stuff in which I would accept going back to Sonic Adventure 2. 30 emblems. Or... Eggman's leg boosters. Because that would let me do, like, multiple entire levels. And of course, anyone's Mystic Melody is, you know, an instant number of checks. Okay. Do some platforming to get up here. I can't actually fight the boss that's this way, because you actually need Morph Ball Bombs. Which, thinking about it, is a very funny limiting factor. Just because you get Morph Ball Bombs so early, it's kind of hard to imagine not progressing through the game without them. But I can shoot that with the Plasma Beam to melt it, which lets me get an item down here. And then I am right next to an elevator. I can see where that elevator goes, and if it goes anywhere but the Phazon Mines, I'll go there. Let's go down here, and whatever this is. Ringed Knight's Spear. Oh, Ringed Knight stuff is from the Ringed City DLC, which is like past an endgame, like technically. So that's really, really good. Okay, so we're on our way to see what those elevators are. Just getting the cutscene for entering Fendrana Drifts backwards. No, don't mind me. And where do you go? What did I say? If it went anywhere but there, I'd go there. Actually, I'm gonna go there. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna save warp back to Chozo Ruins, because there is a lot of stuff I can do there. And then I'll immediately go back to Magmore. Because any piece of terrain that requires the bombs to break, power bombs will do it just as easy. And what is that again? Divine Blessing. It's a consumable. I'm sure it's a full heal, but not gonna worry about that right now. Yes, yes, excuse you. So I'll meet you back in the Beetle Arena. Alright, back in the Beetle Arena, we're gonna break this. Sharp Gem. That could be useful if I ever wanted to modify my weapon with it. What I'm gonna do is go this way, because I can. If I had more power bombs, I could fight Flagra with power bombs. Because I have a an add-on that makes it possible to hurt her with the power bombs. What is Argonian Seas, Piece of a Heart. Well, that is not worth the effort to go get that at this particular moment in time. So I'm not even going to worry about it. Also not going to worry about trying to unlock the door at the top of this room. Just gonna go on over. And go down here. There are so many missile doors. I don't know if this is the normal amount of missile doors. It doesn't feel right. I could be wrong. And quickly save. That done, we're going to go in here. Arstor's Spear. Okay. A lot of Dark Souls items. Just a lot of Dark Souls items. And that. Scan that one. Scan that one. And scan this one. And that unlocks that, which lets me scan the 5th one. And with that done, that's going to drop, and I'm not actually going to grab that, because the moment I grab that, all of these eyeballs are going to activate. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go in here first. Go into these tunnels, which has a few more checks for me. Check number 1. Shield of Want. That's really good for grinding out stuff. Check number 2. Wind God's Aria. Okay. Once again, very useful if I had the Wind Waker, which I happen to not. So, thanks, but no thanks. But now I can go back out here, grab this thing, whatever it happens to be. I didn't see what that was. I saw Argonian Souls, so I know it's a Dark Souls item. Hold on. Violet Wrappings. Okay. I don't exactly remember what that is. But you know what? It's not hurting me to have it, so I suppose I just go. I leave. Fun little thing, if you have the double jump, you can just jump right there and grab that ledge. Here. That's a needed item. Post-Skeletron! Wait. Post-Skeletron, I think that means I can enter the dungeon for free in Terraria without the Dungeon Guardians. That'd be really good. Oh, the old man. Oh, if the old man is free, that means I can build an underground house for the demolitionist and the old man and have an underground pylon. So, fun fact. This actually has, like, pseudo-reflections to it for some weird reason, but she's always A-posing. But another weird fact about it is it's always the color of your custom palette. So I made her, like, a purplish pink, or randomized it to be purplish pink. If she was, like, more orange, it would actually look more orange in that. I don't know why this object has, like, near perfect reflection. It's very weird. For a GameCube game, too, that's kind of almost impressive. Okay, but continuing along the theme of going places where I maybe shouldn't be allowed to. I could get in there and I could kill that and I could get that item, but I'd be stuck in there. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to type hint morph ball bomb. Okay. Okay. So, because I actually want to have, quote-unquote, fun, we're going to be going back to Dark Souls really, really quickly. Like, incredibly quickly. One item quickly. Because I just found out where the morph ball bombs are. Alright. Welcome back to here. So we should be seeing the pop-ups for a bunch of stuff. Yep. Okay. So, we have stuff. More stuff. Mortician's Ashes. The Mortician's Ashes is where the morph ball bombs are. So literally just load in. Oh yeah, we just have to walk over to her, give her the Mortician's Ashes. She's going to have new items to sell us. Same as his Morph Ball Bombs. Buy an E-Tank. Buy the Dream Nail. So I'll see you back in Metroid Prime, this time with bombs. Alright, and we're back over in Metroid Prime now. And we got bombs. And an energy tank, because I really, really wanted to have an extra energy tank to go with this. And now we do. Yeah, so like I said, I really wanted today to focus on Metroid. We're going to be doing that with every beam, a decent amount of missiles, and Morph Ball Bombs. We can shred this game. Just completely cut it in half. And you know what? I'm down for that. The only thing else that I could be missing are the 2 extra suit upgrades, the grapple beam, and well, the beams. Other than that, you know, we're looking real good. But it's time for a boss? This is more of a puzzle with frustrating elements than a boss. You just kind of walk in circles. It doesn't even have a health bar. What you gonna do? I am personally shocked that the Varia suit doesn't make you take 0 damage from this. Then again, you're not supposed to have the Varia suit yet, so it makes sense that the game isn't even programmed to take that into consideration. But yeah, this is the difficult part of the boss. Dodging the firewall wasps. But yeah, you just, you shoot the button when the button shows up. And that's pretty much it. You just do that 4 times. Breaks the Nintendo Classic 3 times rule, but it's fine. And eventually starts firing at different angles, where sometimes you have to be standing up, sometimes you can crouch. Well, you can't crouch, but sometimes you can morph ball under it. Or sometimes you just stand there. Shoot the button again. Shoot the bugs again. Absorb health off the bugs. Now what's happening is every time I shoot it, it shoots up. So that's becoming more and more fire. What's funny is because of how early you're supposed to fight this boss, the game doesn't register any hits except the power beam. It literally does not take damage from anything but the power beam. Under Stoneplate Ring. It's decent. A grub. Okay, now another thing that I have installed is early Spring Ball. The Spring Ball is something from the from earlier Metroids, where if you have the Morph Ball Bombs, you can just boing. So instead of doing bomb jumps, I can actually just do spring jumps. I'm gonna get eaten by this frog, explode him from the inside, and we're gonna start this little puzzle. Not really a puzzle, it's more of just, you know, the room starts beeping and you need to stress out arbitrarily. But you just, you know, 1, 2 little platform things. You know, have the double jump when you're not supposed to. Easy things. Although getting the double jump early is something that you can do even outside of a randomizer. It's something that a lot of speedrunners actually do because of how useful the double jump is. I have never actually done it. I've done the trick. it's called a scan dash, where you kind of lock onto something with the scan visor and then strafe, but at the same time you break the lock on. And for some reason it sends you horizontally sideways. Like really, really fast. Luckily, because I have the boost ball, I won't need to do a scan dash to get to one particular room that I know how to get to. Alright, what's this? An emblem, okay. Definitely need a lot more of those, like 90. Based on how the logic works, the second half of Dark Souls might just be almost exclusively emblems. Hold on, thank you very much. I need that. Okay, so I'm gonna go up here and just make my way over these little tracks with the spider ball. Helm of Thorns. So now if I want, to really do, 9 whole damage rolling into something, I have the power to do that. Alright, we're gonna have some frustration. We come into this room. I'm gonna need to fight the Chozo Ghost with no charge beam and no X-ray visor, which means I just get to mash the A button. And it's dead. Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you, thank you. Here. It's gonna yeet me across the room. I'm gonna go in here. And that is going to activate 3 different colored slots that I can activate all of, because I have all of the beams already. This one is going to change the center track, send us down into a little room where an upgrade is. All I have to do is hop into its hands again, and it'll fire me down there. Master's attire, okay. It too will move the center track and allow us to go to a different location. This one, though, is going to be how you exit the room normally, because when you come in here, you don't have any beam but the wave beam. Because this is actually the puzzle to get the ice beam. Yeah, flung in there, it's going to send us up. This will go back to normal. And you can go over here. I'm going to scan this, which will turn off this force field. Alright. And then activating the red one will actually move the statue itself, which, despite the fact that you need the plasma beam to activate that switch, it's an ice door underneath the statue, which was always a very curious design choice. But once the statue moves, it won't bowling ball you anymore, which is why we do this one last. But below the statue is actually a little room that goes off to the side, and in it is a check, which is an emblem. So, when we get 30 emblems, I'll try Sonic again. And then the more upgrades I get in Sonic, the more I can just do swaths of level at the same time. And we'll get to see what all has the game has in store. Now all you have to do for this puzzle is, despite the fact that I don't have the gravity suit, you don't need to worry about the water because you're going to drain the water and the fish. And suddenly, this pool is looking a lot more, oh, I don't know, half-pipe shaped. So with the half-pipe-shaped room, you just kind of blow up some frogs from the inside. And you go over here. This is where the ice beam normally would be. It's another emblem. Now that door leads to the save room that leads to the elevator that I couldn't get to before. We're gonna see what this elevator is this time. My original plan before I had morph ball bombs, because I couldn't get back here, would to just skip over here and see what the elevator is. We're gonna hope the elevator is something that I can actually go to. Magmore West Monitor Station. Monitor Station. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do, because I think I have a pretty good guess as to where the last few elevators are and where they lead to. What we are looking at here, and one of these elevators is practically guaranteed to lead to the Phazon Mines. And like I said, if I had at least 5 energy tanks, I'd take Phazon Mines, so I'm gonna go take Phazon Mines. Like that one commenter said from my first video of this little mini-series, they wanted to see me tear up Metroid. So let's do that. Eastern leggings. Now, what you can do... That was a phenomenal shot. I just wish I didn't get hit by it. Anyway, as I was saying... There's 2 cool skips in this room. The first one, you have to leave that alive. First one, you can actually get up to the 2nd floor without the double jump by hopping from there to there and just up these little nooks and crannies, because you can see there's a little bit of protrusion of geometry there, and for some reason they have individual hitboxes. But the other thing you can do, if you don't have the boost ball, I'm gonna raise the bridge real quick first. You can stand on top of this computer. This one does require the double jump, but you can do a scan dash from that thing and land next to that door. We're not gonna worry about that right now because I actually have the double jump and the boost ball. I can just get here super easy. This is gonna let us get a bunch of stuff really quickly, like 3 checks, like all within 30 seconds of each other. We're gonna enter here. There's a gear. We're gonna do before we get that gear is we're actually gonna put a power bomb because that's a blow up floor. We're gonna get this. That's the boomerang, and then we're gonna immediately fall down here. Get a second check, which is the whispering route for the crossroads. What we're going to do is we're going to go through this door. We're going to power bomb this little mini hallway. And there's a 3rd check. Boom, boom, boom. Cinders of a Lord, Yorm the Giant. Finding cinders in Magmore Cavern is a very funny thing. But that was absolutely worth all of the effort to get all of those. I'm going to need some more power bombs, though, by the time I get to the other checks, but for now, that was an incredibly lucrative 30 seconds. None of these want to be nice and give me power bombs. That's fine. I don't need power bombs for this half of the map. When I start going back the other direction, I'll need them. Missiles. There's a power bomb. Okay, so what we're going to do is a little bit of a skip. Is that a nothing? No, that's an undead bone shard. Which is very useful for that. Okay, so here's the thing. You start shooting out, you'll notice that these shots are impacting something, because there's an invisible platform. You just jump, you aim right about where the center of your camera is right on this tube, and you just double jump over, You'll land on the next one. You double jump towards this and stop at about the apex of your jump. You'll land on the third one, and then you can just go get that. That's how you do that without the X-ray visor, because the X-ray visor comes much later. Here, we can just go in this little tunnel. Going uphill with the morph ball is a bit of a pain. Put these here, they'll grab them thinking they're me, or just spheres in general. They'll blow up, and you can get through this area really quickly. And we can come back here and get the next item, which may look like a metroid, but is actually a Titanite slab, which is really good, because Titanite slabs are both rare and limited. There's only a certain amount of Titanite slabs in the entire game in Dark Souls 3. So getting one is nice. Alright, so we're gonna roll our way back out of this little maze. And there's only one check on this side of the map that I can't get to, because it requires specifically super missiles, which I can't because I don't have any of the beam combos. But it's fine. It's fine. It's just gonna be a quick revisit. Pull all these in with the ice beam in order to get that power bomb back. And I think I have a slightly different path I want to take than the one I listed. So I'm gonna see what this elevator is, and that'll decide one direction. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go to the save room that's right here. This is a save room right there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save there, and save warp back to Chozo, get a few things, then go kill Flagra. That way Chozo Ruins is all but done. And that'll drop me right back down near the elevator that takes me to the far side of Magmor. So what I'm going to do is beat Flagra, come back here. I'm going to come and do two things. I'm going to get this check in Fiery Shores. I'm going to see what this elevator is. I'm going to grab this. Then I'm going to go to Phendrana. That's my pathing. That's my new path. Where does this go? Forgot to scan it. Talon Overworld, the Frigate Crash Site. So... okay, it's good to know that that's there. Wait, hold on. We're gonna use it. Because it's a one-way trip, but there's a check right before it becomes a one-way trip. So we're gonna grab that and we're gonna come back to Magmoors through the same exact path that we just took. Then we're gonna save warp and do the exact same plan through Chozo Ruins that I mentioned. So there's this room, and then normally you just fall off this cliff into this big pool of water and need the gravity suit, but we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be just shooting these plants to make them go down into the ground. We're going to be grabbing this, and we're going to be immediately backtracking. So we're just going to be heading right back over, and I'll see you after I save warp back to Chozo Ruins. Alright, and we're back. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this, finally. So what you can actually do is just blow that one up. And if you angle yourself at the wall, you can catch yourself on this little piece of terrain, enter it through here, and skip half that little puzzle. So, Divine Blessing is definitely not needed, but considering it's an instant free heal and cures statuses, It's not a bad thing to have in my pocket. And I'm going to drop down here. Go through this little tunnel. Whispering Route for the Crystal Peaks. Not necessarily vital. I don't know why it's represented by a gear. It's definitely not a progression. But I have it now. And we're just going to make our way up and around, avoiding the boss trigger again. Okay, can you let go? Okay, thank you. Just going to hop along our way through here. There's the elevator we're going to take later. Wiggles anxiously. We're going to jump onto this elevator. It's going to get stuck and try and go back down, but I can jump off of it before it does that. And we're going to make our way over to the vault, and because the vault is solved almost entirely in the morph ball, I am not going to leave morph ball. So we're going to jump up, back around, pop this one first. Just to save a little bit of time. And another down. And you can avoid doing a double bomb jump by actually just springballing into a bomb with the right timing. Oh, third lockdown. Third thing opened. And now we can access that. Whatever it is. An orange rupee. Don't know if I actually have enough space in my wallet for that, but it doesn't really matter. And this actually lets us get the cestus that we've stared at since almost the start of the Metroid side. Which lets us jump over here. This. Make our way back around over here. That's a piece of a heart. I don't need that. Alrighty, and we are going to solve the room. What's up next? It'd be a Metroid game if the rooms weren't also semi-puzzly. Right, I forgot that they show up after you've killed them. Okay. I have to do this really quickly. That's the first symbol. Jump up here, turn around. That's the second symbol. Okay, thank you. Third symbol's across the way there. Which, if you have the double jump, you can also just clear this gap. Twice. Otherwise, you'd have to go into the wall via the little morph ball tubes and go over there. The one positive of the ghosts is they make the wasps disappear at least. And the fourth symbol's at the top, and that's going to open up this door behind me, revealing a little morph ball tube that you have to blow open. Come in here and blow it up. And the ghosts don't actually lock the doors because they're ghosts. They can't turn the key, so they can't keep you in there. But you just make your way in here. Just do a little quick lock on, shoot them in their eyeballs. Blow up each of these boxes. A little bit extra health, a little bit extra missiles, and we take on the main boss of Chozo Ruins. Big boss. Lagra. Giant ugly plant monster. Now Flagra is relatively simple. Shoot a missile at its solar panels, it suddenly dies of, vitamin D deficiency. While it is in this stunned state, you just roll into these tubes and blow them up. That's it. However, this time it's slightly different because Flagra now has 2 panels, and it will knock one back if you blow it up. The simplest thing is just lock onto Flagra, stun it with whatever the strongest beam you have is, and just keep strafing to the side, or while keeping locked onto Flagra, and you're right at the right height to hit all the panels anyway. And you just roll over to whatever the closest tube is, you blow it up, repeat. They'll see you when Flagra's dead. And just like that, the plant goes down without a single struggle, and I don't think I even got hit. Floggo's really easy if you know how to handle it, and even if you just have the power beam when you get to this point in the game, just spamming it enough, you should be able to stun Floggo fast enough where it won't actually get a shot off on you. And with that, it will actually purify the water, so all the poisonous water that acts like acid when you step into it will actually purify into normal water you can step in, giving us access to a few more checks when we actually have the gravity suit. But in addition to that, it will also open up that check, which it just so happens to put us right next to. Titanite chunk, not the best thing in the world. Now if you'll notice in the minimap, there's also a check in the center of this room. So in order for this to trigger, we need to solve a puzzle in this room that we can't yet and come back up backwards. And what that'll do is it'll trigger a fight against 3 ghosts. We kill them, we get that check. But that will require us to get super missiles. That's the only thing we're missing to actually be able to beat that check is the super missiles. So, just get a quick top up on anything and everything that we could need. There's one of those guys. We blow him up with a charged electric shot, and now we just jump off a cliff. As you do. And we are right back at the elevator I said we'd be at. So, we're going to go down to Magmore, and we're going to clear out Magmore. Just ignore the pain, Samus. It's just fire. Switch over to Plasma Beam and start charging when you enter this room so that way you can immediately drop shot that pirate. And you can just ignore the other 2 because they're not directly in front of you. Shoot that thing when it opens and just jump. Jump, jump, jump. The only thing I can't get is this room because it needs the grapple beam, but I can pass the room. Even if you fall into the lava, don't worry. Just turn into the morph ball and boost across, and you can actually bomb jump. Because for some reason you act like you're in a liquid in lava, and you can't jump high unless you bomb jump. Then you get full height. In this room, you just shoot that stalactite and watch it squish the Magmore. Because these giant fire snakes are the actual Magmores of Magmore Caverns, if you didn't know. And just make your way over here. And bada bing, bada boom, you've moved on to the next room. This room's also really easy. You can just kind of almost make it, and then just double jump out. Another fun fact, you can actually use the ice beam to freeze these little things, so they stop shooting fire out. You can also do that with the Magmores, which is very funny because then you can just pop them with a missile. You'd think for something that lives in, you know, molten lava, it'd be a little bit resistant to ice because, well, it's warm. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to go in here as a morph ball and do the fireball track. However, if you jump while curving to the left, you actually get enough distance to basically cover the distance. I'm also crazy and I don't like going slow. So, Talon Overworld South Great Tree Hall Upper. Okay, so I'm gonna go through here real quick. This will give me 2 checks. 3 checks. It'll give me 3 checks. 4 checks. I promise it's only 4. There's not more than 4. So there is a door that I am locked out of because it is the upper. If it was lower Great Tree, then I could just go and open the door and get access to it, but because of that, I can't. So you actually need the gravity suit to get through here. This is the lower one. So if it was this one, I'd be able to come down here. And that means that this elevator, which is the last unchecked elevator in the entire game, is actually for the Phazon Mines entrance, which means it's going to be a while till we get there, unless we get the gravity suit pretty soon. So just shoot three plasma beam shots at each of these flowers. We're going to go up here and we're going to get 2 really easy checks. See, right there, the rain is hitting something. You're right, it's more invisible platforms. From there, we can just make 1 good long jump over here, and you can gain access to this room. I was mistaken. Oh, another emblem. So, there are 2 tall rooms that have invisible platforms in this. This was the one I was thinking of. So it'll only be... so I was thinking we could get this check and this one. We're not going to be able to do that. It's fine, though. We're still going to get the 4 checks. It's just not the ones I thought it was. This, we need fireball, power bombs. Easy. Got both of those. We're just going to ride this very cool little spiral tube. Always thought this was one of the coolest texture jobs in the game. We're going to ride it up here. We're going to power bomb this. We're going to be really, really easy. And we're going to go in here, and here's a little tricky thing. You have to be listening for this one to know that there's even a power-up in this room. But you go up here, bomb the center, you'll fall through, and you'll get the crow quills, which is a really good weapon that I was hoping I'd get, that I might get to try when we get back to Dark Souls. Here, drop down here, pick up this, Titanite chunk, powerbomb the room. We're good, we're done. We can actually go, as you can see, outside the bounds of the map. This room is much bigger than it appears. Load this up. Instead of draining the pool like it did the last time we blew up one of those little panels, it's going to build up this pillar. We just boost ball to finish the little clock hand looking thing. It's going to rise up out of the water. It's going to give us a check. Now, if it were only that easy. However, since this is a Chozo-based place, well, the Chozo aren't too happy at us constantly stealing the stuff that they left behind. So, we're going to have to fight some more ghosts. Easy way to handle this room, just jump up into this little slot so that we can avoid doing the morph ball, and you can jump back out of it and land up here. Saves you a few seconds. What's going to happen is immediately after I jump off over this gap, ghosts are going to spawn. I'm going to fight them. Not really that hard, so I'll see you when all of them are dead. Alright, with all 3 of the ghosts put to an untimely rest by me, this will explode, for some reason. And with that, I can exit the room. So, I'll see you back in Phendrana, because I said I would go from Magmoor to Phendrana, so I'll go all the way over there. Actually, I lied. There's one thing I can get over here. It'll be a quick check. Oh no. Don't mind me, Mr. Magmoor. What you do is just come over here, blow those up, and you just make your way up here via morph ball bombs or spring ball. And you just go across this little platforming section as the morph ball, and there's your item. Grass leggings. Okay? Now I'll see you in Phendrana. Okay. Back in Phendrana, we are going to be getting a few different checks. And ignoring that, please ignore the stomping in the distance. So we're going to be getting a good half-dozen checks. And then I believe, as long as I don't miss the jump, I'll be able to save warp back before I get Burger Kinged. Actually, no, it wouldn't even be a Burger King at that point, it would be a soft lock. If I physically can't leave the room, then yeah, it's a soft lock. No. No. Okay. We're looking at a 1, 2, right there. Up, skip, and a jump, and go in there, and we get a grub. Understandable, but I don't like it. Okay. So we're going to be going back out to the main lobby again. As I call it, the main lobby. Okay, so back out here, we're going to be going to the deepest room back here. I came up here once and melted something and then left. We're going to actually be able to complete the room and move on. And beat the boss that normally guards the wave beam. I'm gonna explain a little bit of a way that you can get it early. Well, not early, but easier, far easier, with a randomizer. That isn't really intended, but is welcome. Bad little ice parasites. Okay, so in order to solve this room, it's really simple. Fire missile at that. Morph ball slot behind it. That's why I couldn't get it before. Up. Thank you. And that's gonna just open up this little side gate right here. And what you do is just put 2 bombs. Put a bomb. Bomb. There's no way to get back here fast enough before that respawns, so you'll just have to deal with it. I've never gotten back up here fast enough. Second one you can do it though if you're really quick. Okay, this is going to be a really, really easy fight. Okay, so there's a thing over there. That's what the wave beam normally is. It's an emblem this time. We're approaching 30 emblems, so Sonic might be able to have a comeback. What's going to happen is these doors are going to drop down. There's going to be baby Sheegoths. Side strafe, fire a charged plasma beam directly into their back, and they just vaporize instantaneously. But they're not the issue. It's the Mama that's the issue. Now, there are 3 ways to fight the Mama based on your power progression. One is the normal way, where you wait for her to breathe ice and shoot her in the neck when she's hyperventilating. Second way is to use the plasma beam. However, there's an even faster way, which is roll right up to her and pop a power bomb. Power bomb will not actually vaporize it in one shot, however, because it has multiple instances of damage, it just kills it anyway and doesn't really care. So, we get an emblem for Sonic, and we get to move on. And we even get a power bomb refund for the trouble. So, with that taken care of, we actually have everything except for this done with the first half of Phendrana. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Space Pirate Labs and possibly even over here. So, I'll meet you over when we're at the entrance of the labs. Okay, so they're upset that I'm trying to get in here, and I don't care. So, we're going to go in here real quick. And blow this up. And blow him up. And we're going to be hearing the classic Space Pirate music in 3, 2, 1. Sadly for them, and me, because I do like this song, the music's not going to last too long. But with them defeated, we can actually go into the labs when we have full access. We will be missing, I want to say 1 check, just one. Unless we just happen to get something that we need in here. But the odds of that happening and it not being in Dark Souls, pretty low. Oh, the music's back. Nice. Eat plasma. Just gonna make our way up and through the labs. And, just have a merry old time. And this is where the power-up is. It's in this tube. Actually, I'm gonna check. I have enough for the hint. Progressive power beam. The cool thing about this one is it's going to tell me where all of them are. Progressive power beam is locked behind the Calvary in Terraria, which is getting a mount. Okay, so I can run it again for free and see where the other one is. It's locked behind Rouge's Mad Space 100 ring mission. That's where the progressive power beam is locked behind. So both of those are not really operable right now. I say not both because, well, I could go get one of the early game mounts like the slime or even the bee mount in Terraria, technically. I would need both in order to fire the super missiles. And since that's kind of the whole point, I'm gonna need to wait. But we can enter the observatory, which is what this room is, has a gun drop right in front of us, and just murderize all the guards, as you do. That is going to turn this computer on. Didn't know there were 5, only thought there were 3. Now it's going to turn this on. What that's going to do is going to open up some slots that I would have needed Morph Ball Bomb for. That's why we didn't come here the first time. Here, I make my way around. It's going to open up some boost ball slots down here. I'm just going to do all 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to open up the entire room for us. As well as display a really big image of the planet in the solar system. But we can just jump up and around all this stuff. Make our way over here. I'm going to go save just real quick. And we're going to be able to see what this is. Okay, piece of art. Pretty standard fare. And up we go. Just don't mind me, I'm hot swapping beams for fun. I'm hot swapping beams for combat. Gonna have to deal with some spacey boys up here. They really aren't too hard either, just fire a charge beam at them and they're gone. And while the next set is respawning, I'm going to go in here, blow this up, melt this, and fire a missile at those little containers. What that's going to do is going to drop this entire tower down here. And there's a little tunnel underneath the tower now. Or it was in the floor, technically. And we're all just patiently waiting outside because they couldn't have gotten in there. And they're all gone. Now I drop down here into the floor the tower made. And there's a check. King's Idol, that's a lot of money. Which is nice because now I can access the city, actually sell that stuff, upgrade my nail. Hollow Knight's looking real good. I don't know if I can beat Hollow Knight with what I have, but I can definitely get a lot, and I mean a lot, further in it. But we're not quite done with Metroid here, because we have a few more things that we can go do. Going to be your classic little Metroid. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to free it on purpose. Then you're not supposed to have Ice Beam yet, but it's really easy once you have Ice Beam. Then this guy's going to jump through the window and promptly get reduced to atoms. They weren't so mean, I wouldn't have to vaporize them, but, you know, they are, so get vaporized. That one dead. And we're gonna hop skippity pop up here. And we're gonna go along this little morph ball rope, essentially. Hopefully not get shot. I don't think there's anything left that can shoot me, but I'm gonna hope to not get shot. Get that, large soul of a weary warrior. Shoot this, actually get a vanilla energy tank. And then with everything dead, Let me just fire a missile at these boxes and head on down. Oh, hello. No. And start charging a plasma beam for the enemy on the other side of the door. I mean, what enemy? And we want to scan the green one. We're gonna jump there. Lower down the next tank. Now what normally happens when you do this is you get the item and the entire lab loses power and you have to fight your way back out. However, due to the fact that we have the ice beam already, that doesn't matter. Because I can literally just go over to this door and leave. That'll bring us over to this area. Which is where I may or may not get stuck. What I'm supposed to do is down here. This is normally the route that you take in order to get the gravity suit. The issue with that is we don't have the gravity suit, so we can't get out if I were to go down to where you're normally supposed to get it. That doesn't stop us from getting right up to where you're supposed to get it, because even if I were to get stuck, there's a save room right here. Alrighty, so I'm stuck until I get the grapple beam. So I'm going to hint that. And that is Pyramid Cave's Golden Beetle. Okay, I know where that is. I've seen it, but I don't know how to get to it because the spring didn't send me high enough the last time I tried to get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider myself Burger Kinged for Metroid Prime, and I'll move over to the next game. So, I'll see you over there.